Have you ever felt like the weight of the world was crushing you, with no way out? Like every decision you made was a step further into darkness? That's where I found myself, lost and alone, with nothing but my pain for company. My name is John Anderson, and this is my story. As I sat on the edge of my bed, the silence of my empty house was pressing down on me like a heavy blanket. The walls, once filled with laughter and love, now seemed to echo with the memories of a life that had slipped through my fingers. As I glanced at the clock, another sleepless night was drawing to an end, but I found no solace in the coming dawn. I, a man in my late 40s who, just a few years ago, had everything I thought I ever wanted. I had built a thriving business from the ground up, and my success had seemed inevitable. But as I stared at my reflection in the mirror, I saw a stranger looking back at me. A man hollowed out by depression and betrayal. It all started when I met Greg. Greg was charismatic and confident, the kind of man who seemed to have all the answers. I saw in him a potential partner, someone who could help take my business to the next level. Against my wife Sarah's cautious advice, I decided to trust Greg completely. I handed over significant control of my company and finances to Greg, believing it was the key to even greater success. But Greg's promises were empty. Within months, he had siphoned off the company's funds and disappeared, leaving me to pick up the pieces. The business crumbled, and with it, my sense of purpose. Sarah, unable to bear the strain, left, taking our 2 children with her. I was left alone, drowning in debt and regret. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. I tried to rebuild, but the weight of my depression was suffocating. I felt abandoned by everyone, even God. One night, as I sat in my dimly lit living room, a Bible lay unopened on the table beside me. It was a gift from my mother, one I had ignored for far too long. In a moment of desperation, I reached for it, flipping aimlessly through its pages. My eyes landed on Psalm chapter 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. I read the words over and over, with tears rushing down my face as if a dam had broken inside me. For the first time in months, I allowed myself to pray. God, if you're there, I need you. I can't do this alone. The next morning, I woke up with a strange sense of peace. It wasn't that my problems had disappeared, but there was a glimmer of hope I hadn't felt in a long time. I decided to seek help, joining a local support group for people struggling with depression. There, I met others who shared their own stories of pain and recovery, reminding me I wasn't alone. One evening, the group leader, a kind woman named Linda, shared Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The words resonated deeply with me. I realized I had been carrying my burdens alone for too long, and it was time to trust in something greater than myself. Slowly, I began to rebuild, not just my business but my life. I found a new church community that welcomed me with open arms. Through prayer, therapy, and the support of my new friends, I started to heal. One day I received a letter in the mail. It was from Greg. In it, Greg apologized for everything he had done, explaining that he had fallen into a deep addiction that drove him to betray my trust. He was now in rehab, seeking to make amends. Enclosed was a check, a significant portion of the money Greg had stolen, with a promise to repay the rest over time. I was stunned. I never expected to hear from Greg again. let alone receive an apology and restitution. It was a reminder that redemption was possible for everyone, even those who had caused the deepest wounds. With a renewed faith in God and the support of my community, I rebuilt my life. My new business flourished, but more importantly, I found a deeper purpose. I began speaking at churches and support groups, sharing my story and offering hope to others struggling with depression. I often quoted Isaiah 41 verse 10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. It became my life's mission to remind others that they were never truly alone, and that with faith and support, recovery was always within reach. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, don't carry the burden alone. Reach out to your community, seek help, and trust in God's promise to be close to the brokenhearted. Remember, there is always hope, even in the darkest times. In my journey from despair to hope, I discovered that the greatest success wasn't measured by wealth or achievements, but by the strength to rise again and the grace to trust in God's unwavering love. Pray without ceasing and trust in God.